Alright guys, here we've got Kaiser from the Dragon Empire showing off his Granblue deck profile.
Okay, the starting here is Captain Naked. It sends the top 10 cards to you in there. You pick one, you send it to the grave, and that's Toolbox for late game. So it's either going to be your ride, or it's going to be something you're going to call back with your ride, so it's going to be very useful. Your other options are Guiding Zombie and the Grade 3 Searcher. The Grade 3 Searcher not so great, because yes, you're using Counterblast cost just as you are with Night Kid here, and Counterblast is quite valuable in Granblue, especially if you're not using a damaging flipper. But the problem is, when you're running such a low grade 3 count, there are so many other ways you can actually get your grade 3 that you don't need a grade 3 searcher. And Guiding Zombie, well, it's a free-ish effect. It's still the same -1, and it's very much a random mill as opposed to a strategic mill that you can use later.
Yeah, I mean, like, he'll help you late game. He's a solid booster until then anyway.
Yeah, at 5k, you don't always have to use this guy.
You don't have to use him.
He can boost behind Cocytus for 20, or behind a Ruin Shade column for 16, which isn't bad.
It's a very good number. Yep, fair enough.
Or you can swap them out.
Onto another grade 0 that we see in Granblue.
This is pretty much essential for most Granblue decks playing Chappie the Ghosting, because you guard with it, it's 10k, it's pretty handy, and you can send pretty much any card you want to the graveyard. So
Send any card you want to.
Exactly, any card. So you can set up, get a bit of draw power, maybe have a Cutlass or something like that.
Okay, you're playing 3 extra grade 0s, so what have you cut out for them?
I've had to go a bit aggro, so I've cut out my grade 3 count essentially, which is why I play 5 grade 3s.
See, okay.
So it's a bit of a quirky ratio, but with Granblue, you're always going to have quirky ratios anyway.
Yeah, okay.
And being creative with the deck is the most important thing with this.
Yeah, I think Granblue encourages creativity, so...
This is why I absolutely love it. You can play almost any variety as long as there's logic behind the reason why you're doing it.
Moving on to the trigger lineup.
Sure. First one, we have a quick tech choice, the stand trigger.
Yeah, I've been loving this one actually.
It's quite interesting playing 2 stands, because you have to think about your columns a little bit more. It adds a bit more thought to the deck, which is fun. And when you call your Vanguard, your grade 3, and this is in the grave that you guarded with, you can call it back here and swap it for something else afterwards after you've used it to guard.
I mean, and that, because you're only running 2, the surprise stand, even if you trigger it, is...
Exactly,
yeah. Quite annoying actually.
It surprises myself sometimes, actually.
You're a very annoying person, Kaiser.
Oh. And the rest of the triggers are 2 crits, the standard ones there. I'm running 4 of the Night Spirit crits, because I'm running Spirit Exceed as an emergency superior ride, so these are quite necessary.
Yeah.
So I don't need these so much, basically. And the last crit is 4 Rossi's Banshee.
So that's a total of 10 criticals.
It is. And it's not bad. 10 crits, 2 stand. It still maintains the aggro, still maintains the pressure Granblue can put out.
Yep.
And this is quite good. I mean, you don't necessarily...
I mean, I have seen you double crit for game a lot, so it can't be all bad.
You kind of need to sometimes. But with this, you don't mind soul charging it so much, because you can make up for your negs using cards like Cutlass or swapping out your soul.
Okay.
And if you stuck the right attacking units anyway, you can swap that out.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And of course, your obligatory 4 heals.
Interesting. So how come you don't use the other heal trigger, Dr. Rouge?
Huh?
Why don't you use the other heal trigger, Dr. Rouge?
I've alternated back and forth really. I'm just using
Or
this
did you
little guy.
prefer this weird artwork?
Oh, he's cute though.
He's sticking his tongue out at you, man. Okay, on to the grade 1s then.
Sure. Oh, just want to go with one quick fact. I don't run the draw triggers because I know Granblue might necessarily make the draw, but every time I've gotten a draw trigger, I've always wished it was critical because you need that extra pressure early game.
Yeah. Okay, on to the grade 1s.
On to the grade 1s. Now, I know everyone who says play this card, you have to run Baskirk deck to run it essentially. So 4 damn big Iromarios. Might seem a bit weird because this is a Cocytus Toolbox deck.
Yeah, but AK, Vanillas, never really a bad thing. Solid ride target, solid booster.
They're not bad, and like calling it behind Cocytus can make it a 23 so you can hit crossroads.
So it can hit crossroads, because crossroads are coming back.
Plus early game defense for turn 1, bit of aggro as well.
Aggro, turn 1.
It's quite a versatile card considering.
It's very versatile. AK Vanillas, you don't see much running around anymore because of those 10Ks.
No, it's not. Fair. These guys don't have a 10k, it'd be quite nice if they did.
It'd be nice if they did, but I still prefer 8Ks when you can run 8Ks. When you can run 8Ks, I would say run them.
Fair enough. Okay, in terms of toolbox choices, 1 Deadly Nightmare and 3 Samurai Spirit. These are the swap cards, basically. Things I want to send to the graveyard, the drop zone rather, not the graveyard, that I can swap out for other cards later in the game.
So with Samurai Spirit, you Counterblast 1, choose any of your Granblue rear guards.
Basically, so you can use that stand trigger from early game and swap it out for any of these cards to make it a reliable.
Whereas Deadly Nightmare, you got a Soul Blast 2, and then choose any of your Granblue.
Yeah, so it's the same cost, but you have to use Soul instead.
You have to use Soul, and that one uses Counterblast.
And I like to use my Soul a bit more than my Counterblast, so I've only got the 1.
So why would you not vouch running 2 and 2?
I've tried running 2 and 2 for a little bit, but I've always needed Samurai Spirits when I've had this guy.
Okay.
And I can use Chappies to send it if necessary.
Oh yeah, because you use another grade 1 in the deck, which you might showcase for later.
Okay, moving on a little bit. My absolute favourite card, Dancing Cutlass.
He uses this far too much.
He does use far too much.
He does use it too much when he doesn't need to.
I will agree, I do spam this effect a little bit, but like, the plus you can get from this, it might not necessarily be a plus because you're
breaking even.
Yeah, it makes up your ride neg a little bit essentially. And using that soul that might not necessarily be used otherwise, and you can swap it.
I must say, in some videos you might see Kaiser putting Rushie's Banshees into the soul just so he has soul for Cutlass.
Which can make up which can
be a very bad choice, okay? He just likes to spam it. This is not the correct thing to do necessarily, but it could work.
If you know what you're doing.
It's a risk, but that he's always willing to take for Cutlass.
It's such a good card though. And finally, because Granblue can't put out a lot of defense, 4 Gustian, just to keep the deck going long enough to crit him, basically.
Can you imagine if these guys got a quintet wall?
It would be so good.
Counterblast 1, top 5 to the grave, what? Okay, on to the grade 2s.
Okay, this might seem like an odd choice as well. I'm running 4 of the superior ride for Cocytus.
Yep.
This allows me to basically run a lesser grade 3 count, so I can run this, combo it with Chappie, get my grade 3 in the graveyard, in the drop zone, and call it back using this.
Yep. So what's the condition? Your opponent needs to be on grade 3 and you need to drop 1 card from your hand.
Yeah, and basically have a Cocytus in your graveyard.
Yeah. Which you can do with Chappie, because Chappie lets you put anything in the graveyard.
Yeah, it's not bad to do. You can mill it, you can use Night Kid to get it in there as well.
You've got options to get it in there. You've got Ruin Shade for a potential...
The only other choice is if I was playing a different deck, like the Break Ride build that's coming out soon, I'd probably change these for Pietros.
Okay.
Because that's the one thing this deck's lacking, is damage and flippers.
Okay. Well, there is a damage and flipper that exists for this deck, isn't there?
It is, but I don't have space to run it, so
I see.
Okay, moving on. 4 Ruin Shades, 11k attackers when needed. They can also mill so you can get extra toolbox.
Another thing, don't spam these guys.
No, you will kill yourself pretty quickly. Once you know you've got like a decent tech toolbox in there, like you've got a few cards you can swap out for, you probably want to stop milling because it's going to be a very quick game otherwise.
But it can be useful, yeah, definitely.
Oh, especially with a stand trigger as well, because you can make the 16 by milling back again.
Yeah.
Which is why I tend to use this to attack first.
Fair enough.
Surprise stand trigger is quite nice.
On to the...
and the final tech choices. 2 Deadly Spirits, the Soul Exchange.
Essentially very similar to Deadly Nightmare.
Exactly. And 1 Captain Nightmare, because I'm already getting a lot of counterblast use. So essentially, this kind of balances out in terms of what
So basically, the Captain Nightmare is the grade 2 version of
Samurai
Spirit, and Deadly Spirit is the grade 2 version of Deadly Nightmare.
And obviously running Romarios in the deck, that's not a bad column to make.
16 is very good column. And plus you got an Interceptor as well.
Of course, and it's always good to call back for a free counter.
For the defense, yeah. Okay. On to the Gambits of the deck, the last
the
few
best card in the
cards.
deck. 4 Cocytus. You probably could get away with running 3. You wouldn't hit your grade 3 ratio nearly as much, and you can spam this thing quite well to make up for some of the cards you might need.
So what's it? Counterblast 2, call back anything from the graveyard, yep?
Yep, when you ride it, basically anything you've got set up there, like Cutlass for example.
Always Cutlass with you, isn't it?
Always Cutlass, it's the best card. And of course the extra 5k power is quite nice.
At limit break, yep.
With Romario behind it, can hit the 23, so it's cross rise, so you can make up for that.
Okay, fair enough. So the last
And
card.
the last card of the deck, this is the emergency ride. You don't always want to get this, but having the crit trigger in there and the Samurai Spirits, which is another reason why I've got extra Samurai Spirits in order to make up for this.
Okay.
Because you won't always hit grade 3. Well, you will.
You hit grade 3 often a lot of the time.
90% of the time you hit grade 3. But this is a backup plan just in case you don't.
Yeah. Okay. Otherwise just tank it in, isn't it?
And it gives you soul extra for a late game or 2.
Okay, right. Thanks for watching.